What's up, guys? Power Maniac 720 here, and I have for you today round one from the inaugural 2015 Boston Open, where I went 4-3. So my team for the Open was Salamence, Breloom, Milotic, Scizor, Sableye, and Arcanine, which I will be posting about in the blog I'm a part of, Pokemon Masters. That's MASS-TERS.blogspot.com, which I will link. It's linked to my Twitter, so go to my Twitter and it's there. So my first opponent was Grant Brown, who said he's quote unquote random. He's not part of any forums and going Showdown or anything like that. He had a pretty solid team. Milotic, Salamence, Sylveon, Rotom, Heat, Bisharp, and Terrakion. So I led Breloom and Sableye because I figured that kind of gave me a good lead against everything, because Breloom's most likely going to outspeed Milotic, Sylveon, Rotom, Heat, and Bisharp. And if he leads Salamence or Terrakion, then I get to either quash him and spore him, or just like feint Bullet Seed, quash Bullet Seed, something like that. So this first turn, I kind of assumed he was going to protect Milotic and overheat Breloom, so I went for the feint Bullet Seed play to knock out Milotic. He actually double protects, so I assume, fearing the potential fake out from Sableye, which of course is a legitimate threat. A lot of Sableye run fake out. I don't. But he double protects, which is perfect because I get free damage off. I don't take any damage myself. So really nothing to complain about this turn. One thing I should have done is probably just spored to Milotic in case either A, he switched, or in case it didn't KO, which you'll see here it doesn't KO, for two reasons. One, I only got 2 hits, so it wouldn't have been enough anyway. But also, he had a Citrus Berry, so it would have taken 4 hits to take him out. But hey, not a horrible first turn. I get a lot of free damage. So I kind of assumed that the switch was pretty obvious, and I thought he might switch into Salamence, but he actually switches into Sylveon, which I'm also fine with. And also, seeing the Citrus Berry on his Milotic pretty much made me assume that his Rotom Heat probably had the goggles, but I ended up sporing that slot this turn just to play it safe, because I don't want to, avoid it the whole time and find out that he didn't have goggles. And then I'm like, well, why didn't I spore it? So he overheats as I spore into his goggles. Obviously takes me down to my Focus Sash. So in this turn, I just go for the Bullet Seed on the Sylveon because I want to knock it out. And I honestly didn't expect Bullet Seed to knock it out. So just in case, I figured I'd switch in my Milotic, because 2 reasons. One, my Milotic's pretty fast. So I figured Breloom's going to take a Thunderbolt, and Milotic will take a Hyper Voice, activate my Moringa Berry, and then I can recover before they hit me. And also, Rotom Heat's not really a threat right now because it's at -2. So if it's at -2 and then my special defense goes to +1, then it's just really doing nothing to me. And actually, I get 4 hits and knock out the Sylveon, which was really surprising to me because I honestly didn't think that was going to happen. So he Thunderbolts the Breloom. Of course, I would have taken a full power Hyper Voice to the face if I hadn't KO'd, which would have hurt. But like I said, it would have probably brought me down to like 30-40%. I'm guessing probably closer to 30 if it was Specs. So anyway, my opponent here switches into Milotic. We both have Shiny, which is a good switch or a good lead, because now that Breloom's gone, Milotic kind of has free reign, although I do have Salamence in the back, which kind of just wrecks it. And so with this Rotom Heat at -2 and presumably having Will-O-Wisp, I kind of assumed he'd switch it out here into the Salamence, which is kind of what I was waiting for. And it didn't happen, so I iced in the slot expecting the Salamence switch, and he just kept it in, which I thought was kind of a weird play. And so he just Thunderbolts into my Milotic, which is also fine because he's going to activate my Moringa Berry, and he didn't really do that much damage. And now I can, I'm sitting in front of 2 special attackers, and the 1 physical attacker in the back I can just quash. So, and it scalds me as well, but luckily it doesn't burn me. So I go for the feint in case he protects the Rotom, and this time I scald it. Which says, pretty good, like 90% to it. Rotom goes to the Will-O-Wisp onto my Sableye, which is a good move because at -2 it's really not doing much. You don't want to overheat it. Thunderbolt's going to do pretty much nothing, especially because I'm max HP, max special defense, careful. And, as you can see, the Scald really doesn't do that much to it. But the burn will chip away and make it pretty annoying for Sableye to do stuff. So I go for the feint onto the Rotom in case he protects, and I also Ice Beam again, figuring either A, he's going to switch, and if he doesn't, feint plus Ice Beam should pick up the KO. And luckily it does. That would have sucked if it didn't, although I still think I was in pretty good shape. So then Milotic goes for the Scald again onto my Sableye. And, it does a decent chunk of damage. Milotic Hurt Bites Burn once more. So now I know that, I assume he has the Salamence in the back because that's his Mega, and he does send out the Salamence. So at this point I know the game's won because he just, A, gave me a competitive boost, B, I'm at +1 special attack, and C, I can just Quash and Ice Beam him, and there's really nothing he can do because even if he protects, I can just do it next turn because his Milotic can't knock me out. Unless it... I'm at +1, so there's really nothing it has. I guess the only thing it can do is Dragon Tail me out. But, that's obviously not going to happen. So I go for the Quash onto the Salamence, and I get my Ice Beam off, which knocks it out. So at this point, it's game because, of course, I have 3 Pokemon. His Milotic's burned, and from what I can tell, he doesn't have Recover. Otherwise, I think he would have used it by now. And he knocks out my Sableye, which sucks because I won the 3-0, but I guess I was content with the 2-0. So Burn knocks out his Milotic and ends the game. So I am currently 1-0 in the Boston Open. So stay tuned for round 2.